Buddy and Earl Go Exploring by Maureen Fergus. The day had been long and full of adventures. Buddy was looking forward to a good night's sleep. Buddy watched Meredith put Earl into his fancy new home. He wagged his tail when she and Michael and Mom and Dad gave him good-night hugs and pats. Then he scratched his blanket into a nice, messy pile, lay down, and closed his eyes. All was quiet. "Good night, Buddy," whispered Earl. "Good night, Earl," murmured Buddy. "Wish me bon voyage," whispered Earl. "Bon voyage," murmured Buddy. "What does bon voyage mean, Earl?" asked Buddy. "It means have a good trip," replied Earl. "I did not know you were going on a trip," said Buddy. "It was a spur-of-the-moment decision," admitted Earl. "Where will you go?" asked Buddy. "Wherever the road leads me," replied Earl. "How long will you be gone?" asked Buddy. "However long it takes," replied Earl. This worried Buddy. What if whatever it took was a long time? What if it took forever? He might never see Earl again. Even though his big heart was almost breaking, Buddy tried to be brave. "Goodbye, Earl," he cried. "Good luck." Earl solemnly saluted his friend. Then he climbed onto his wheel and started running. Earl ran and ran and ran. After a long time, he stopped and looked around. "This place looks eerily similar to the place I just left," whispered Earl. "Maybe that is because this is the place you just left," whispered Buddy. When he heard Buddy's voice, Earl was so startled that he jumped and made a funny popping sound. "I ran faster than the wind," he cried. "How did you manage to keep up with me, Buddy?" "I'm not sure," said Buddy uncertainly. "Well, I'm glad you're here," declared Earl. "Exploring is always more fun if you do it with a friend." "We will have to explore quietly," said Earl. "Otherwise, the hideous ogre will hear us." "What hideous ogre?" asked Buddy in alarm. "The one with the glasses and the ugly blue housecoat," said Earl. "The one that makes such a racket when you bite it as hard as you can." "That hideous ogre sounds a lot like Dad," said Buddy. "I know," said Earl with a shiver. "Let's go." They hadn't gone far before Earl saw something amazing. "Look, Buddy, a silvery lake in the shadow of a great mountain," he exclaimed. "That is my water dish in the shadow of the garbage pail," said Buddy. "Last one in's a rotten egg," whooped Earl as he waddled over and climbed into the lake. Earl floated and splashed and kicked. "Come on in, Buddy," he called. "The water is beautiful." Filled with excitement, Buddy bounded towards the water dish. Unfortunately, he ran into a little trouble along the way. Buddy felt terrible about knocking over the garbage can. Then he noticed some of yesterday's meatloaf and forgot all about feeling terrible. When Earl saw that it was snack time, he hurried to join in. Earl had just discovered a half-eaten carrot when he gasped and pointed at something in the distance. "What is it, Earl?" asked Buddy anxiously. "What do you see?" "I see a lovely lady hedgehog trapped in the jaws of a monster," cried Earl. "That is not a lady hedgehog and a monster, Earl," said Buddy. "That is Mom's hairbrush and a purse." "I will save you, my darling," bellowed Earl as he charged across the room. Earl tried to grab the monster, but it was no use. "You have to attack the monster for me, Buddy," panted Earl. "I'm not supposed to attack Mom's purse, Earl," said Buddy. "Do it, Buddy, quickly, before my sweetie is devoured," roared Earl. Buddy did not want Earl's sweetie to be devoured, so he gave the purse strap a mighty yank. Mom's purse toppled off the stool. Earl's sweetie was saved. Earl gave Mom's hairbrush his most charming smile. "Do you think she likes me, Buddy?" Earl whispered. Buddy couldn't answer because he had just caught sight of another monster, the vacuum cleaner. Buddy was very scared. Luckily, Earl came to the rescue. Glaring up at the monster, he shouted, "Attack, and I will prickle you!" Instead of roaring to life and gobbling up Earl, the vacuum cleaner just stood there. Buddy was saved. "You are my hero, Earl," cried Buddy. "You are my hero, Buddy," said Earl. "And do you know what else? I think we've done enough exploring for one night." Buddy helped Earl back into his home, then lay down and closed his eyes. "Bonsoir, Buddy," murmured Earl. "Oh, no," said Buddy. "What does bonsoir mean, Earl?" "It means good night," replied Earl. "Oh," sighed Buddy happily. "Well then, bonsoir, Earl. Good night."